Welcome to this week's episode of Those Two Guys Talk Disney.
What up?
I'm Justin, that's Jay. This week we're talking about Luck of the Irish, which I'm intentionally releasing it on St. Paddy's Day.
Yeah.
Because it is the only Disney movie I know of that focuses on
Irish.
Yeah. I think it'd be cool to actually release the one Disney, the Disney movie that they've actually released before St. Patrick's Day.
So the synopsis that this thing gives is a teenager must battle for a gold charm to keep his family from being controlled by an evil leprechaun.
It was released March 9th, 2001.
A week before St. Patrick's Day that year.
Yes.
I noted that little note in my sidebar there.
The ratings, IMDb is 6.1 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is 52%. And Common Sense Media is 3 out of 5.
Not too bad, not too bad.
What do you rate this movie, though?
Me, myself, it's up there for me. I love this movie.
I do too. And in 2001, I was 9th grade.
2001? Yeah, because you graduated 2004. So.
Yeah, so I was 9th grade.
I was just a couple years behind you there.
So I was still watching the Disney Channel for this.
I graduated in 06, so it was 5 years before I graduated.
And I remember seeing this movie on Disney Channel. And it literally played the entire month, every day, for the entire month. So I watched this movie a ton that month. And then the next month, when the next movie come out, they still played this movie because they would play all the DCOMs up to this point.
I still watch this movie quite a bit.
I do too every year.
Time of year.
Every year I watch this movie.
Like I said, this time of year especially, I watch it a lot.
The runtime on this is 86 minutes. So this movie's not too terribly long.
It was directed by Paul Hohen. Because that's how you say his name.
The budget was $2 million. So for a DCOM, this is actually...
I couldn't find the budget. I looked.
I did. I searched everywhere. I finally found it.
I looked everywhere for it.
I searched everywhere for it. I finally found it. I literally just put it in there. So $2 million for it this time is actually really good for a DCOM because they weren't putting a lot of investment into it. And this one takes place, or is filmed. Parts of the movie are filmed in Lagoon in Farmington, Utah.
Yep.
Of course, because almost all DCOMs are filmed in either Utah or Canada. And Toronto, I believe, or Vancouver.
And actually, it was remade into an Indian Hindi language TV film called Luck Luck Kai. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. Directed by Lavag Khan. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. I apologize. But the movie's up there for me, man. I rate it real high because I just really enjoy this movie. I think it's really fun.
They actually have a decent cast in this movie, too. Ryan Merriman as Kyle Johnson. Henry Gibson as Riley O'Reilly. His grandfather.
Yep.
Which we do not know at the beginning of the movie. Alexis Lopez as Bonnie Lopez. Which I didn't realize anything else she was in right away. It took me a little bit. And some of the names actually weren't highlighted.
And I like how her last name in the movie is her actual last name.
Yeah. Paul Kernan as Bob Johnson.
/ Robert Smith, his father.
Marita...
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I pronounced that either.
Garati,
yeah, I guess.
as Kate O'Reilly Johnson / Kate Smith.
His mama.
Glendon Chapman as Russell Holloway.
Which is his best friend.
And Timothy...
I didn't realize his last name was that weird.
I don't know how to say his last name.
Timothy Amundsen, like, I'm not sure.
As Seamus McTiernan, the Lord of the Steppe.
You also might know him from the TV series Psych.
Yes.
But I didn't realize his last name was that weird until writing it down for this. I was like, oh, okay. That one caught me off guard. I was like,
The reception on this film, the only thing actually I wrote down here for the reception is Luck of the Irish has been called the strangest Disney Channel original movie ever. It was a relative television success. The film received a very mixed retrospective review at the sports website SB Nation. What? I can't do it.
oh, man.
Oh, my God.
Ooh.
I don't 100% actually agree with the ratings on this movie.
I don't either.
I think this movie's easily a 7.5 to 8. Maybe an 8.5. Because, I mean, the story's easy to follow. You kind of understand what's going on. Yeah, at the beginning of the movie you don't because you're not supposed to. That's kind of the whole thing. So, do I think it's the strangest Disney Channel original movie? No.
By far, no. Not by far.
I think there's weirder ones,
Yeah,
and
sure.
we'll cover them sooner or later, and I'll actually talk about it then. But to me, it's just this wasn't the weirdest movie.
I'll read a little bit of the plot here. With his lucky gold coin on his side, 15-year-old Kyle Johnson gets everything in life. He is also the best basketball player on his team. Heritage Day is approaching, and every time Kyle asks where his family came from, his parents, Kate and Bob, change the subject. He finds out that his dad changed his last name, but doesn't know why. One day, Kyle and his best friend Russell Holloway go to an Irish festival, which, by the way, he was not supposed to go to that fairgrounds.
No.
Anyway, the information. There he sees coins just like his and wonders if he's Irish. When Kyle can't stop step dancing during Seamus McTiernan and the Santa Step show, he gets knocked down. The next morning, Kyle wakes up and notices something is different about him. At breakfast, his mother is acting differently, and she confesses to him that they are Irish. And that does not happen that first day. I don't think. I'm pretty sure it's like the next time she finally confesses.
It's that day.
Is it?
Yeah, it's that day because that's when she decides to make the full English breakfast.
Oh, yeah. She tells him they're Irish. It's just the next time something they're leprechauns is what it is.
And then the next day when he comes down, she's like building a fire with peat moss.
Yeah, nothing like the smell of peach wood or whatever in the morning or something. Don't do it. Yeah, no. On his way to school, his day of bad luck starts to begin. The next day, Kyle notices more changes. He's shorter and his hair is turning red. In science class, a magnet attaches to his coin. He realizes that his lucky coin was stolen. He rushes home to tell his parents, walks in to see that his mother has shrunk to 1 foot tall. She reveals to him that she is really a leprechaun and that he is one too. Oh boy.
Alright, this movie actually does start with him winning a basketball game. The next day at school,
Like by pure luck too. Like you see the ball like flying towards out of bounds, he like leaps for it with his hand,
and then
swats it, and it just goes in,
yeah,
and it sends him to the state or whatever.
yeah. Well, they're like one game away from state, and so he's, very popular in school because he's the best basketball player. And that's kind of what it all boils down to. He is the best basketball player because, well, he's lucky, and nobody else is like that.
Did you see him sitting in class, supposed to be taking a test or whatever,
And he's
just
daydreaming.
and then the bell rings, and she's like, "All right, that's it." Put pins down. You see him just filling a bunch of answers.
He doesn't even do it. It's literally A B C D A B C D A B C D.
Like you see somebody doing her, and the teacher says, "I do what I do specifically to keep kids from doing that," and then the teacher goes to check it, and he has every answer right. He's like, "They're all right."
So why would that teacher go A B C D A B C D?
I don't know.
Actually, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of like when teachers do that. because you don't think that you're going to do that's what they're going to do, and then when they do it, I've also had a teacher actually make every answer C. So the people that caught on to it like right away just knew put C, and they'd get it all the way down, and then like the very last answer would be like A. So it just threw you off because obviously you weren't paying attention, and that's how they caught you not paying. That you weren't paying attention to their test.
And he tells his mom who he thinks stole it, and his mom said that tells him that's his grandfather, Riley O'Reilly, founder of the Emerald Potato Chip Company. Katie and her father had a falling out over her having a mixed marriage. They all go to the factory to ask for the coin back. After being kicked out by the Secret Service, the security, Kyle sneaks in with the Young Achievers group. From school, a girl from school, Benny Lopez, asks why he's dead, da-da-da. They get chased by security, and they're getting caught by his grandfather. Riley.
Actually, he get caught by his grandpa after he jumps down a chute.
Yeah.
And falls in a bucket of potatoes.
This guy was a better grandson out, boy. I think it's my grandson. Riley tells him that he didn't steal it, and that is their family's lucky coin. The youngest person in the family must have the possession of it, so all the leprechauns and the Riley clan can pass as human. Bonnie tells Kyle that his ears have changed and are now pointy. Riley starts to grow a beard.
I love how his whole thing is he plays music every time he's trying to manifest despair.
Well, he's a leprechaun, so they do to manifest despair. That's what he says.
Yeah. But it's just funny because, like, okay, so that first day, like, after he wins the basketball game, you see him and Russell walking to school. He finds $5 on the ground. Russell's telling him, dude, you're the luckiest person I know. And he's like, oh, no, that's basically telling him, no, that's BS. I'm not lucky. But, Bonnie is in charge of the Heritage Day committee.
She's in charge of all the committees, apparently.
Hounding him about heritage. Why isn't she hounding Russell?
I don't know.
Like, this doesn't make sense.
But before they go to the Irish fair thing, you see him and Russell shooting hoops from the yard or whatever, and he touches the rim.
Yeah.
It's cool. And then they go to the Irish thing. Apparently his gold coin gets taken.
Now, I'm not going to lie, though. The Saint of the Step thing is actually awesome.
One of the cool things was when his grandpa throws the coins in the air, it's just give him a bag of spuds and they all just land in a stack on the table or whatever. Like, what the...
Yeah, but the whole Lord of the Step thing, or Saint of the Step, I loved it.
The Saint of the Step.
Like, the way he, just that, that dancing is actually really cool to see.
Irish jig. I think that's what it's called.
And after he gets knocked down, you don't see him switch it out. So, man, they must be, like, fast.
Well, the leprechaun, they use the magic. They just... they use the magic to swap the coin, I'm guessing.
Now, is Seamus the only leprechaun, or
I'm assuming
his
their
whole
whole
crew is?
I'm assuming their whole crew is. And they never mentioned it, but I would assume they all were. Like, I'm assuming it's his little clan or whatever. Barderic leprechauns. Barderic. Well, it never actually says, but they're all talk like they're Irish.
Well, I know. I mean, they all could be Irish, but are they all actually leprechauns?
Like,
or are they...
I don't know. I mean, I'm just assuming they all are. It never actually says. But anyway, they figure out that Seamus has stolen the coin. They go chase him down. His grandpa tells him that Seamus is an evil leprechaun. On their way to across, Russell who joins them. Or they come across Russell who joins them. After Seamus and his gang get away, they track down their camper at the end of a rainbow, which is really funny.
Okay, him getting away though is hilarious.
The chasing him and he throws out the freaking corned
beef cabbage and lands on their window, and they like.
And they keep driving. And he's like, man, I kind of worked up episode, I'm kind of hungry, and they're like, boss, that was the last of the corned beef and cabbage.
And he looks mad. But that's when they also blow the tire in Riley O'Reilly's convertible. And
they go to get in the trunk to get a spare until there's just nothing but shoes.
But he tells him you don't have a spare.
So I don't have a spare. It's like I never need one. I've never needed one before.
And finally, it's Bonnie that actually convinces them to keep going.
Of course, then Bonnie says it could be worse, and then it starts pouring down rain.
But Bonnie still is the one that convinces them to keep going.
Yeah.
And once she does, the rain stops.
Now, Bonnie goes to his dad to the gas station.
Bob says, "Oh, I'll go to the gas station." His mom says, "I'm going with you. I'm not going to be waiting in the car."
Not much do waiting in the car.
And then Bonnie goes so she can call her parents to tell her parents what's going on.
Russell said, "We'll get this top up one way or another, or whatever. They're going to try working on getting the top up."
But they're not working on the top. That's the thing. He's actually pulling out the jack to jack the car up. Like, it's a bumper jack.
Yeah.
So, what is he doing?
And then Russell's like, "Hey, look, a rainbow." And that's when Riley was like, "Come on, boys."
And he just takes off running. And Rich Russell, you can't get to the end of a rainbow. It's just light reflected in the sun.
He said, "Boy, I'm a leprechaun. Don't you be telling me about rainbows." I was like, "Oh, Lord."
And they find their pot of gold. I don't know how, but he is able to figure out which one was his.
Well, when he picked it up, he could just feel it. Like, I don't know. I guess it's a leprechaun thing.
His grandpa wanted to take all the gold, and he's actually convincing his grandpa not to.
He's like, "You can't just take it," and blah, blah, blah. And he said, "We didn't come to America to steal." And then that's when his grandpa stops, and he's like,
Hearing you count yourself among the little people is worth a pot of gold.
Even one so big and giant.
And right about that time, he realized, Seamus realizes something's going on, and he actually performs some kind of magic to pop out of the gold and grab Riley by the beard, which apparently if you
catch a leprechaun by the beard, they can't get away.
And he pulls him into the little cyclone, but then Kyle remembers what his grandpa said about.
Well, Kyle goes out the door, and they're outside the door of the RV.
Yeah, but he remembers what his grandpa said about Voderic's liking to wager.
Like to make bits.
So he makes a wager with him that he could beat him at sports, and if he does, he has to let his grandpa go, and he gets the coin. So Seamus makes the bet, but
not the sports they thought they were going to be playing.
Yeah, they were like older sports,
old Irish games, sport.
Like boulder tossing,
like wagon wheel chucking,
chasing or throwing a wagon wheel. What was it? Dance,
throwing a spear,
hurling.
Yeah.
Basically soccer. Which, the stuff that was very physical. Oh, and they actually have a foot race. But the stuff that's like very actually physical.
Like the wagon wheel toss and like.
Kyle isn't very good at. So like the wagon wheel, the boulder, and the foot race, he loses all three of them. However, the first game is hurling, and Seamus literally hits the thing at him, and he...
It's like a baseball.
Yeah, he just hits like a baseball, and it goes over, and it's goal. So he wins that one. The soccer one, he literally gets it, he kicks it.
He tells him to punt it, he literally basically punts it like a football. And
yeah, and it goes in. Just wins that one, and then he actually wins the dance.
And Seamus does the Irish step dance or whatever.
Yeah.
And then he starts dancing. He's like, "What kind of?" He's like, "That's my step." He's like break dancing. Oh no, they end up tying at the end of it.
So but their bet was that.
And of course, Seamus being over Derek was like, "We said if you beat me, I didn't lose. You didn't beat me, so therefore
a tie's not beating me.
Hand it over."
So then he basically does double or nothing.
He challenges him again, this time in basketball.
He actually named the sport that time.
Yeah. He told me he'd beat him with or without his luck.
Which, this part I actually liked his grandpa in. Because his grandpa's telling him, don't do this, just run. But he does it. He said, no, I got to do this. And they end up being at their state game.
Yeah.
Like right at the end. And basically all of Sheamus's guys become
we're on the opposite team with the other team member for that team.
As the other team.
No, because there were still kids for the other team playing too.
I know. But if you actually look, it shows like... Because he goes, isn't he too old for junior high?
I know.
And then it flashes and
they're playing on the team with that actual team.
Yeah.
Because the actual team is still playing. They still have members of the team actually still playing. They're just part of that team now, somehow.
But the only two... But Kyle's team is just his regular team.
Yeah.
And... Of course, the score's tied, and there's only like 3 minutes left in the game, and... Sheamus's team goes up. Like 70 to like 62 or something like that. And he's like, they're really trying. Well, Kyle's grandpa, chained to the top of the backboard, tosses Russell a lucky coin.
He's like, cool, I'll give it to Kyle.
And he said, no, it won't work for Kyle. It's for you. And he sticks it down in his shoe. And all of a sudden, Russell's playing really amazing. Well, Russell ends up telling Kyle what it was, and when Sheamus was shooting his foul shots, Kyle's talking to his grandpa, and his grandpa says he doesn't need luck, he needs confidence. Which is very, very true. Once he got out of his own head, Russell could play. Not only could he play, but he touched the rim.
Yeah. Speaking of that, we missed the part where after Kyle touches the rim at home, they're back in the gym and now have to make 10 foul shots before they can leave before the game that night. And before that, Russell was bragging to the other teammates that Kyle could touch the rim. And like, come on, Kyle, show me. And Kyle completely misses. Because it was his string of bad luck after losing this coin.
Yeah. But they end up, once his grandpa said, his luck's inside him. He doesn't need luck, he needs confidence. That's when it clicks to Kyle, his luck's inside him. And he starts playing better. And they start hitting threes and basically they bring it all the way back up. And it's actually Russell that actually scores the last one.
That's because Kyle passed it to him.
But Sheamus is actually starting to turn. The closer and closer it gets to them winning, Sheamus starts turning. So he actually starts growing the ears. His hair starts turning red. He starts growing his beard. He's just mad. He's ready to attack.
He turned into like an evil kind of.
Yeah. Now, Kyle's second bet with him though was great because his dad's from Ohio.
If I win, you release my grandfather. We get to keep our luck, and you will spend the rest of your days in the land of my father.
Well, he's thinking Ireland.
Yeah.
And
Lakes of Era. Lake of Era.
Because Kyle says on the shores of Lake Erie, and he says you need to learn how to pronounce it.
Era, boy.
I'm still gonna be the king of the leprechauns. And
leprechauns yet.
He's like, my father's from Ohio.
He's like, uh-oh.
And I like how it doesn't deposit him on the shore. It drops him right in the middle of the lake.
Yeah. Like, it makes him shrink all the way down first. And then just shoots him out. Blasts him off and drops him in the lake.
Like, whatever happened to his group, though?
Yeah, I don't know what the rest of
it. It's like disappeared.
Yeah. I don't know if it shrunk them and set them there too, or where they went. I don't know. It never says. You never hear anything about his group, whether they're Leprechauns 2 or whatever happened to him after that. Like, never. He's the only one it focuses on. Like, it never says anything about the rest.
Never says anything about his group.
Then after that happens, all of a sudden everybody's back in the gym, and you see his grandpa talking to Bonnie's dad, because Bonnie's dad doesn't know where she's been, and so he told her dad that she'd been with him all day interviewing for a scholarship, but they like their students to be well-rounded.
And so doesn't she play like a sport or something?
He goes, oh yes, Bonnie's going to play basketball next year, aren't you, Bonnie? She's like,
because she only does everything to make her dad happy.
She really wanted to play basketball, but her dad said that the young achievers would look better on a college application, so she couldn't play basketball.
Which, you need to have some kind of sport. I mean, if you're really going for like scholarships or anything, you really need a sport. But yeah, they just, the end of the movie is literally him doing the dance.
It's funny that Kyle is so much taller than Russell, because you see Russell's dad is tall as crap.
That's because his dad is an actual NBA basketball star.
Really tall.
His dad's actually an NBA basketball star.
I'm just saying, his dad's really tall. You think they would have got somebody to play him that was a little bit taller.
Yeah, I know.
So dad's supposed to be so tall. You think they would have made him taller than Kyle, at least.
But when Kyle's whole little bad day was going on, after he didn't make any free throws.
Dude, his mom sent him to school with something in cocaine or whatever she said. It was like fish.
Yeah.
Pale.
It drops all on him.
Looks gross. Dumps all over him.
Yeah, it looks like throw up.
It was terrible. He gets splashed by a car. He finds money, ends up dropping it, gets splashed by a car that washes down the sewer, dumps it all over him. Somebody offers him chocolate cake, they don't really like it. That falls off the plate on him. He's had a very bad day.
I mean, at the game, he ends up getting pulled out because of his bad luck.
Before that, when they're shooting free throws, shoot 10 free throws before they could leave practice, he couldn't hit a single one. Couldn't make a single basket at all. He gets mad, and then Bonnie makes one. He laughs at Gary, like, so that's not luck. That's hard work. That's practice. He's like, you don't even play basketball.
But yeah, the movie ends with them singing a song. Yeah, they sung that whole song, and the crowd started getting involved. And the only two people that you ever see on that stage is Bonnie and Kyle.
Yeah.
Why aren't there more people giving out?
And Kyle buffed out an entire Irish jig.
Yeah.
Never before, never learned how to do it, never taught. Just boom.
Because he's a leprechaun.
That's just insane.
But yeah, he just.
And it's funny because when the movie starts, he's like dreaming.
Yeah.
About that. But he's like really tiny. And we can hear him. And it's on that, so he's having nightmares of the Heritage Day stage. And then here we go at the end of it, that's where they ended that, them on the stage. Singing together.
But he did find out he was a leprechaun.
And that's what's funny about it, is it shows him so tiny on that stage, then you find out he's actually a leprechaun, that if he didn't have his corn, he would end up tiny like that.
But yeah, they just... I like the way they played this, I do.
And it's funny when he asks his granddad why he's not as small as his mom. He's like, it's not that easy for an old man to change. It takes a little longer. Yeah, his beard grew immensely really fast.
Well, yeah, beards don't take as long. But I like how short his grandpa is already. I mean, just how short he is.
It's your mother that still makes them for you. Got snakes on the sole of his shoe.
That's how his mom figured out who it was.
He's like, a snake on the sole of his shoe, was it?
Oh, well, what else can we say about this movie other than just go watch this movie on Disney
that's
Plus?
a good one.
It is a great movie. I don't know why they never... I wish they would have made a second one. I would love to know what happened to Kyle after this. Did him and Bonnie get together? Or what happened to Seamus?
Right. Like Seamus. Did Seamus drown or did he make it to dry lake? I just kind of dropped him in the middle of the lake, or the river, or ocean, or whatever.
It was a lake.
Like he get ate by a fish.
He probably rode the fish back.
Or he found a turtle and rode a turtle to the land.
Yeah.
You found a yellow submarine.
Well, I'm not sure what our next movie is going to be yet. We will actually figure that out probably this week so we can record again. Well, hopefully next week. That way we can keep pumping these out and hopefully get about a month or two ahead. That's what I'd like.
That would be nice.
That way we don't have to sweat it too much if we're running behind a little bit. But you guys definitely come back for the next one. I don't know if it'll be a DCOM or a full-length film. I know these last few have been a little bit shorter. I know these are a little bit shorter, but mostly because, well, we're on a time limit tonight.
Unfortunately.
And it's about that time for Jay to leave. So, yeah, come back next week and we'll have another one for you guys. See you later.
Catch you on the flip side.